Viewing today, Mace?
We are reviewing Glass.
Glass.
M. Night Shyamalan's third.
The much anticipated trilogy sequel, the finale.
Only 19 years in the making?
That's
17 years? 19? Yeah,
That's
19.
It. And did this movie, in your opinion, feel like it was 19 years in the making?
You know what? I was super excited to see this after I saw Unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Let's talk about that
I know,
first.
this is almost going to be two movie reviews because
You've never seen Unbreakable.
never.
Ever. And I think it's very interesting that to have someone that's never seen it but has seen a ton of superhero hero movies to go back and see Unbreakable.
This was such a realistic take on superheroes.
Isn't it? It's such.
I loved it.
It's so smart and intelligent, and it's such a realistic take. It's great, isn't it?
It is. It's really great.
Was,
the performances were fantastic too. Bruce Willis,
yeah,
very subtle in his approach, like with his acting, but every time you could see the pain in his eyes, the emotions of like like the trauma of the car accident, and like having to pretend or not knowing if he's pretending, like. Just the whole movie was great. That kid was really good too. I was happy to see him in
That's
Glass.
coming right off of Sixth Sense. See, so him and M. Night, him and Bruce and M. Night, they're fired up, and this is M. Night. That was M. Night Shyamalan at his prime. Coming off Sixth Sense, then making Unbreakable.
Yep.
Unbreakable, yeah, and it's such an interesting superhero story, isn't it?
It is.
It's more
really
realistic
so
than
well
any
done.
other story. Yeah, and it's dark, but it's super fucking smart. It makes you ask questions about superheroes, and it does. It's like a full deep dive of a comic book and everything,
is a
and what it
comic
takes
book.
to be a hero.
The
and
color
everything.
schemes, especially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Always green with him.
And how kind of and we'll get into that because Glass color plays a big part in Glass as well. But and Samuel Jackson is unbelievable in Unbreakable, just like he's unbelievable in Glass. Yeah. Samuel Jackson is just he plays a great bad guy. And Elijah Price.
I would say he was probably better in Unbreakable than Glass, being that he was literally paralyzed for half, or sedated.
He doesn't talk in Glass until an hour in. He doesn't do his first words. Yeah. But he is a great villain though. Great villain. Very smart. He's like a Brainiac if a strong wind could snap Brainiac's spine. That would be...
and he's so smart that
Yeah. Well, he's so smart, he's just dangerous. Just being aware, being like not zonked out of his mind on fucking uppers. But so you liked Unbreakable.
I thought Unbreakable, in the twist at the end.
Yeah.
It was great. It wasn't the same sort of twist.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the same sort of twist like Sixth Sense. And this is coming right off Sixth Sense. But this was a super villain twist that I absolutely loved at the end of Unbreakable. When I found out that he...
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you have not
we're going to get
watched
spoilers,
yeah.
Into Glass and Unbreakable. But that final scene, or the last scene with Samuel Jackson.
So great. And then Bruce Willis is walking away. Oh my God, dude.
Where he's laughing. Yeah, it's...
So good.
And with M. Night Shyamalan, he is a great artist when it comes to directing. He's really good. It's just
I'm
storytelling wise. I'm a huge fan of when he's good, he's good.
Exactly.
When he's bad, he's bad.
And can I say something to that though? When it comes to M. Night Shyamalan, when you look at directors, I would classify M. Night Shyamalan as somewhat of he definitely is an experimental filmmaker. As ways that he takes risks that other filmmakers do not.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
I would agree with that, but I also agree that he got popular in a style of storytelling relatively early in his career, and I think he kind of was handcuffed to that, where he lived and died by the twist. The twist was his. That was his big thing.
That was his thing.
The M. Night Shyamalan twist. Everyone, you always know there's a twist coming, even in every M. Night Shyamalan movie, which kind of makes it so the last 15 minutes, if you don't love the last 15 minutes of an M. Night Shyamalan movie, you're probably not going to love what happened before that.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's some movies that I absolutely hate with M. Night Shyamalan.
And I would say that would probably definitely be the case with Glass.
With
the ending.
Oh, yeah. There's a twist.
You either loved it or you hated it.
Well, there's multiple twists, but what I did like about Glass is it did not rely heavily on the twist.
Not at all.
Where the The first hour and 45 minutes, it didn't feel wasted because you didn't like the twist. Where was the twist amazing? We'll get into it, but I didn't think it was the greatest twist of all time. But it still did not hinder the movie, I thought, in any other way. Like some of the other twists from his movies, like The Happening. Have you seen The Happening, Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, I have. The one where at the end, the plants.
Yeah, it's the plants. Yeah. The plants. Yeah, where they make... It's terrifying. kind of a Bird Box.
It is.
Where they're all trying to kill each other. Yeah. The plants
Bird Box and Quiet Place combined.
The Happening, yeah. There's a few movies of Night Shyamalan that were really... But he's been on kind of a roll, at least for me.
For me as well. I've liked his last few movies.
Yeah, I liked him too. Let's just start talking about Glass. Did Glass live up to what you thought it was going to be?
I am. Well, we'll just get right into it. I suppose.
Well, let me read the synopsis first.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I got to do that. This is probably going to be kind of a long synopsis.
That's okay.
Because you kind of got to explain the movie that happened 19 years earlier.
Also.
Yeah, so it's kind of confusing in that sense. But I thought I had it on here.
Sarah Paulson was in this for a brief,
She was in it quite a bit.
I almost said a brief cameo, but then I was thinking of Bird Box.
Yeah,
I was like a brief, and then I'm like, hold on, we're not talking about Bird Box.
I love Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson was fantastic.
Okay,
she is probably my favorite actress.
She's good in everything. She's good in everything.
She really is fucking incredible.
She does. And apparently for this role, she took it without even reading the script because she wanted to work with M. Night Shyamalan so bad.
Yeah, and she didn't even watch her performance.
Kind of crazy to me, but...
she was on Jimmy Kimmel, I think, and she was like, yeah, I still haven't even watched it. I don't watch my performances anymore. But it's like, probably... I understand that. A lot of people... Right, and she's in
Johnny Depp never watches
stuff.
His performances, which I can understand why. Yeah. But he never does. Yeah, he never... Yeah. All right, M. Night Shyamalan brings together the narratives of two of his standout originals. Let me tell you, this is on the Glass website, so it kind of talks up M. Night Shyamalan.
Right, yeah, definitely.
But 2000 Unbreakable from Touchstone, 2016 Split from Universal, and one explosive all-new comic book thriller, Glass. From Unbreakable, Bruce Willis returns as David Dunn and does Samuel L. Jackson's as Elijah Price, known also by the pseudonym Mr. Glass, because he has glass bones.
Makes sense.
Glass bones, yeah.
Right.
Joining from Split are James McAvoy, reprising his role as Kevin Wendell Crumb, and the multiple identities who reside within him. 24 identities, correct?
Yes, and we saw 20 of them in this film.
Yes.
Which we will get into.
And Anya Taylor-Joy as Casey Cook, the only captive to survive the encounter with the Beast. She's from Split, the first one. She plays a big role in this one. Following the conclusion of Split, Glass finds Dunn pursuing Crumb's superhuman figure of the Beast in a series of escalating encounters, while the shadowy presence of Price emerges as an orchestrator who holds critical secrets to both men. That's the synopsis.
What a synopsis.
What a synopsis.
What a synopsis.
And that's just building into, and that kind of just tells you, gives you a little glance of what's going on, but man, it does not even scratch the surface.
No, it does not.
Is what happening. So I'll give you my first reactions to Glass. I was very pumped for this movie, and let's just say it doesn't have great reviews right now.
No, it does not
on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, and I saw those reviews before I went to the movie.
So did I, and it has like a 30. Yeah, which made me sad. It has like a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was really pumped, but even after seeing all the reviews, I still liked it more than... This is one that I did not totally agree on with the critics. I liked it a lot more. Even though I had very high expectations, I did not see... Because the hate that it was getting, really, I did not see... I think a lot of people just like to hate on M. Night Shyamalan at this point. Right, yeah. But,
It's kind of that...
I liked it a lot more than I guess other critics did. But I had very high expectations, and it might have not have met my expectations. But I was happy with how he ended this trilogy or whatever, how he rounded it off. It does have twists.
And is it done?
Who knows? Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah. We'll get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
So should we just go by, tell us what you liked and what you didn't like about it, how we usually do it?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
This movie takes place 3 weeks after the events of Split.
Yes.
Which is pretty quick
Pretty quick turnaround for the girl, too.
In the first 5 minutes. Yeah, I know. And she already has a family and everything.
She's already fine. Like, it's not traumatic anymore.
And the uncle, who, spoiler if he hasn't seen Glass, like molest and sexually.
Yeah.
And he's already in prison.
Yeah, that's a fast system. Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Or maybe, was he in prison or maybe he was just, he's probably,
maybe he just got caught.
In jail. He's for waiting. But I was surprised by how quick it was the turnaround from a Split.
Right.
Because you get, like, on the news, it says, like, 3 weeks after she was found or whatever. But you're right. It's very quick turnaround for the girl. And she's already back at school.
Right. Take
a month off.
Take a month off. Just relax. Like, you were just kidnapped.
You could saw your friends get eaten by what you think is some kind of superhuman man who
Beast
has
person.
24 distinct personalities.
Half bear, half
you earned a month off.
Right.
You don't need to go back. Take 2 months off maybe. Take a vacation. But she's going right back at it. She needs to get over it.
Yeah. She's trying to get over that PTSD as fast as possible.
Oh, absolutely. So we get into it, but it starts out with Bruce Willis' character, right? He's the overseer now.
Yep.
And
who's at his whim?
Yeah,
his son
with
the earpiece. It's great.
His son, who plays kind of his Oracle, kind of Batman-esque, Bruce Wayne, Alfred, kind of in the back. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I was this kid is so strange looking to me. He's got like the deepest, bluest eyes where they almost look black.
Right.
Where I rewatched like the first couple scenes from Unbreakable and seeing that kid is he's got a very distinct look.
He does, very.
And even seeing it, because I had no idea he was in this. They reprised his role in this one.
Like when you watch the movie, you didn't know that was him?
No, as soon as I saw him, because you don't forget those fucking doll eyes. He's got shark eyes. They're so dark.
He does.
At first, I thought, is he wearing contact lenses? But I didn't know previously that he was going to be it, which is cool that they got the same kid. Yeah. And he does well for the most part, acting wise.
I thought so too.
Even though I don't think he's been in anything for 19 years.
You're kidding me.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in anything.
No, I think he's pretty popular, dude.
What's he been in?
Yeah, he's a pretty popular actor. Yeah, he's in Criminal Minds, NCIS, Gladiator.
Okay, so literally the roles everyone's in. That's not that popular these days.
Well, yeah,
everyone's got a role in NCIS.
So.
I'm probably credited in there some point.
That's true. Yeah. He's in some movies.
But nothing we've heard of.
Yeah, okay.
It's those eyes, man. I'm telling you.
But still, man, he's got a lot of credits.
I'm not saying he's not doing good. I mean, I personally haven't seen him in anything, and I was surprised to see him.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
3 seasons of that. I don't know what he played.
He was pretty much a regular then. He was on 3 seasons.
Yeah, 3 seasons. Yeah, that's a lot.
So he's in there now, and he's kind of directing his dad, right?
Right.
And they're doing all this, and they're looking for Kevin Wendell Crumb, James McAvoy's character,
right.
Who McAvoy absolutely steals the show in this one.
Incredible.
It's to the point where he's so good where he's even blowing Samuel Jackson out of the water, which Samuel Jackson is amazing. But I mean, it's crazy to see him switch from personality to personality. It is amazing from
one take. Too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
that rollerblading scene. Yeah, when he's playing Edwig, and he's just going around the girls. It's like,
and this one we'll talk about once they capture him, to get him to not turn to the beast, they have to constantly use light to keep him.
Right.
So in this one, he's really, and whereas in Split, it never was like one after another.
No.
But this one, it's one after another. And I saw an interview with Samuel Jackson. He was talking about, how he's somewhat of a good actor, and he was just being modest, but he's like, when you're in the room with him and he's changing all those personalities, he's like, it's unlike anything you've ever seen before.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. You might like it, but I truly do believe that he should get some kind of Oscar nomination.
Oh, I do too. I completely agree. I think this is one of the best performances I've seen.
Yeah.
In a few years, as far as like character development, like I really felt every character.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
When he played
it's 24 personalities, which is a lot. Which is just, I don't know, why not do 11? I mean, 11 is a lot, but doing 24, but it really does feel like each one is different. Where it feels like there are 24 different people.
To go from like Edwig to Patricia, it's like, whew, wow,
yeah, exactly.
The difference, like, and And it's the subtle things in the actor too, where it's his body language, it's his mannerisms, it's the way he presents his eyes when he looks. It's all different.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
how much detail he went into each one of those characters is really astonishing.
Yeah, you really get the sense that he knows where each and every one of these characters, he knows the background, he knows their story, he knows everything. Because, and especially in this one, we get where those characters start turning on him and whatnot. Where
the Horde.
Yeah, the Horde, which is the Horde is all 24 personalities, right?
Right.
And that's how he kind of...
And only one gets the light at a time.
Yeah, and only one gets the light, but when the Beast is in the light, he's indestructible.
Yeah.
Right? Or he's superhuman.
Superhuman, yeah.
And that's kind of the whole thing where it's... I guess where I kind of get a sense is all 24 of those characters kind of combined to become this beast. And that's how he uses all of his power and whatnot. But his real identity is Kevin Wendell Crumb, which is...
Wendell Crumb.
Wendell Crumb, which would have been his porn name. But yes, that's his... And this guy's, he's kind of a... he's broken. I don't want to say he's a pussy, but
no, he's broken.
He's no beast.
Right.
But he never gets the light, right? They keep him out of it because he's the only one that kind of knows that things are bad and whatnot. So they keep him out of the light. The Horde, always, yeah. So we rarely ever.
Well, Kevin really doesn't want the light either. Early on in the movie, Kevin Wendell.
Oh yeah, not until the very end is when he does it. Yeah,
yeah,
because he knows deep down. I guess he knows at some sense that this is bad and whatever. But so Bruce Willis, his son, they're teaming up. They're trying to catch this guy who just kidnapped, he just killed 3 girls.
Right.
And now another 4 girls have been kidnapped. Right?
Yes.
Stereotypical cheerleaders.
4 cheerleaders. Yeah.
And he's going to eat them. Right? That's what he does.
Yeah.
I never understood why.
Why he eats them? Probably something, I don't know.
It's because I know it is something because they're innocent or whatever, and he talks about that a lot, and he talks about it in this one, how they're innocent and whatnot.
Did he say they were innocent or because they weren't innocent?
I thought, well, it's one of the, I mean, he gets them for, I figured it's because they're innocent. They're young girls always.
Oh. Maybe. Yeah.
That's what I always thought that. But anyway, so he's getting them, and he's gonna eat them, right? He's gonna eat them up. That's what he does. He eats their livers to become the beast, right?
Right, yes.
So he's gonna, and Bruce Willis somehow
bumps into him.
Yeah, and very movie-esque, which is always kind of silly. And the son, I thought the kind of part I smirked at was the son was like, he triangulated like where all attacks were.
Right.
He's like, okay, all attacks are happening this way, but he's probably coming from over here. And it's like, well, why?
Right.
Why
and he
is
just
he
knew
coming?
that he.
Yeah, and he's like, he's got to have easy access to him. I'm like, well, why could he not come from anywhere else around the triangle?
There were a few things in this movie where you could do that. You could ask that question of, okay, why?
Yeah,
so like even like with
which
the
in
lights,
any superhero movie,
yeah, like with Kevin, like with Wendell Crumb, and every time they were flashing the lights, you go, okay, well, why not just put something over your eyes?
Yeah, or move the mattress
that
was loose on his bed. But But so they find him somehow, and he bumps into him. He bumps into the Hedwig version of him, the little kid,
he does,
right?
Yeah, the 9-year-old.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis, we say his powers are super strength, can see when you're bad if he touches you, but doesn't like water, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, his water is his kryptonite.
Yeah, which is also my kryptonite. I drown also if I'm in water.
Are you serious?
Long. Yeah.
You don't like water?
No, I mean, if I'm drowning, I feel like...
yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, I love water, but I feel like... Is it like anything? Does he never bathe? I mean, does he never go in the rain?
Well, no, he definitely showers. He's got a shower.
The whole thing is, it's not really his kryptonite. I mean, it's like his human kryptonite, because he drowned when he was a kid.
Right. So it's like his biggest fear. It's his actual fear,
where I think he can drown. I think that's his thing, is anyone can drown. But when he's in water, he panics.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's actual his, like, as in it makes him weak or whatever, but I think he just goes in full panic mode, or...
Like the one thing that can kill him? But it might be the one thing. It could be open for interpretation, because the water could be the only thing that kills him. Because we never saw anything else that even came close. And the beast grabbed him.
I'm thinking that suffocating him would kill him also. Like putting him in a plastic bag would probably do the same thing. Like, I don't think he'd go into space to where I think water.
Launch him into space
where I think water is just the easiest way to kill him because you can't stab him, you can't shoot him.
Right.
You might be able to hang him, but I feel like
he's unbreakable though.
Yeah.
So you can't break his neck. You know.
Yeah, but you could choke him.
But he's
not unchokeable.
Right.
Which the movie should have been titled.
But I think if from my understanding, I don't know. I think the only way you can kill him is through water.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way they do. I mean, I think it does come because they did.
Why didn't she just shoot him? Why would she drown him at the end?
You can't shoot him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can't. How else would she have killed him except drowning him?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that I think like suffocating him would do the same. I just think water is the easiest way to kill him because you can't stab him. What's the next thing you do? I guess you could try to burning him, but that would make a big mess. I mean, you can't really burn someone.
Depending on how well you burn it.
Well, yeah, no, but you can't. You couldn't really light that building on fire and start because the whole thing was I think because it goes to the flashback of him drowning as a kid,
right?
To where I think and I don't know. Maybe it is water. Maybe he can't take baths, and as soon as he gets in a bath, he just becomes completely weak or whatever. I mean, at what point is it too much water for him? Does he have to be soaked in the water? Does he have to be...
These are all M. Night Shyamalan questions.
I mean, can he not be on the rain? That must be why he's wearing the raincoat all the time.
Oh, well, yeah. Could be.
Okay, so water is his weakness.
Yes.
We figure that out.
I think we can get to the point that water is the weakness, yes.
So he finds Kevin. The whole time his son's telling him the cops are on his trail, right? Because he's kind of vigilant. But this has been 19 years. He's been a vigilante. So you have to remember that. It's not just 3 weeks since Split. He's been 19 years. So now the entire city kind of knows him as like a Batman character, right?
Right, and he's kind of like a giant meme.
Yeah.
So he's always around the internet.
So you get this, so you get the sense, at least in this city, people are starting to become aware
of who he is.
Not of who he is, but that there is a guy going around that might have some kind of specialty or whatever. Right. He's going around so people are starting to take notice, right? Mm-hmm. And then, but his son kind of warns him throughout the whole thing, or through the start, that the cops are on him or whatever, and they are. But he ends up finding
How did you like the setup?
It seemed like it was just built to get us there. Like maybe it wasn't super a lot of thinking into it. Do you mean the setup of how he went to find Kevin Crumb?
No, just the setup of his life, like for the last 19 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. I like how they showed him. I really like the scene at the very start where it shows that kid punch the old man or whatever. Remember that part?
Oh, they're making a video.
Yeah,
it's like, who does that? I know. What asshole just walks down the street and punches some guy with a grocery bag?
And to then film it and like get your face. Like, I understand if you're just going to punch him and then post to YouTube, but blur your face or something.
Right.
So I did like that they saw that, and I did like how he was kind of, but 19 years is a long time to fight crime.
It is.
But again, it kind of builds to the point where it's been 19 years, he's been unmatched.
That's true.
He's been the only one that's ever been able, well, him and Elijah have ever been, that's kind of his.
But Elijah's been locked up for 19.
Exactly. So he's been kind of having it really easy. So but they do know that there is, him and his son do know that there's some guy going around taking kids and eating them or whatnot. So I like that setup. So they go and find him in the brick factory, right? Because they figure out he's got red dust on he's got red brick dust on his pants. And he's like, there's got to be a brick factory around, which kind of makes sense. So they go
opposite of him.
Yeah, that was a big thing where he had to trust his son over his own instincts instead of following him. So he gets there before the beast gets there, right?
Yeah, a couple minutes before. Yeah.
And
does the whole sneak up on the girls. They think he's a bad guy, and then he cuts the chains.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was very predictable. I mean,
but I liked it. I appreciated it because it's.
Yeah. But did you ever think that it was?
I feel like those are nods to superhero movies.
But did you ever think that it was going to be Kevin?
I don't think it was meant. I don't think it was meant to show you that it was Kevin.
No,
I think it was meant to be the stereotypical superhero saving the day, but you think it's the bad guy.
Yeah,
I think they. But I really do feel that.
I really do think at some point, maybe at the start, you were supposed to think. I think that you were supposed to think it was Kevin at the very start, at least. I mean, because like, why else is he like scrambling around? Like,
yeah, but they just told us that he was going to the warehouse. So why the fuck we just saw Edwig walk the other way?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would we be like, oh shit, the Beast made it back before?
Yeah, but it could have been where we didn't know how much time has spent. Or maybe he was just waiting for the Beast or something. But that does make sense. Where we do get to the point where maybe it was just poking fun. And yeah. So he unlocks him. We didn't talk about, there's a great scene, the scene before that where he introduces James McAvoy's character when he's playing, who's the head lady of the Horde? Patricia. When he offers him a PB&J. Oh, that was the first kind of introduction of who he is and everything. So we go in, he breaks him out pretty easily, right?
I'd say so.
But who's there to show up? The fucking Beast.
Of course.
And let me tell you, I do not understand the science behind the Beast. I don't really understand. Can he conjure it at any point this time?
I don't know.
During Split, I thought he had to eat people first, but now it seems like he's just going.
He can just go whenever he can.
Like he's getting better at it.
But I think that's because he had the numbers advantage in the Horde. I think more people were for the Beast, and that's why he could show up to protect them.
But remember, at the very end, he only has like 10 people left, and he's still turning it on and off.
Good point.
Good
point. Yeah.
So I think in this one, he can, just for the sake of storytelling, he can
just turn
do it whenever
he wants. Yeah.
But he still likes to eat people for whatever reason. But this is our first meeting between David Dunn, Bruce Willis, and this is our first. How did you like this fight? Okay,
I'll tell you, I love the cinematography throughout this film. I thought the way it was shot was beautiful, and it was the same. It was the same guy who did Split, and I thought it was great. However, I could not stand the GoPro. Or
you not
GoPro. It's I can't say it was filmed on a GoPro, but the GoPro style, the POV that are not right here, and I'm just like, please stop with that.
So the first time it showed it, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting, and I do think the very first time they do it, because they do it almost every fight scene. I think the first time they showed it for way too long. If they did it for a first couple seconds, but then they do it again in another fight scene, and it is used. Way too much for the first, because it's not. In these, I had a problem with these fight scenes where it wasn't just shoot it like a regular fight scene. Shoot it. I like you said, the cinematography is great, but those fight scenes, and again, it's like these guys were allergic to throwing punches. It's a lot of shoving,
right?
Which is it's always odd to me, and I like how the Beast is very animalistic, where his first instinct is to jump off a wall and then crush you, but the Overseer, David Dunn, Bruce Willis' character, he doesn't throw a punch. It's a lot of shoving.
Yeah.
Why not hit this guy?
I don't know.
But I really liked when the Beast came in and he's pissed and he throws that table.
Yeah. And he breaks the chick's arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That big table. And then
I thought she died.
Well, they throw catch. They play catch with it. Remember, he throws it first. Bruce Willis throws it back. Right. Then the girls run, and then he throws. Yeah, that did look good. That looked fucking good. Awesome. Where you thought that girl was crushed.
I know. I thought she
that looked
died.
like a heavy yeah. But it was brutal. It set the tone. It was awesome. But so they fight. It's not my favorite fight. They fight. They roll around. Kind of. They show they're somewhat strong, I guess. But it is a lot of shoving. It's a lot of hugging.
Grabbing too. A lot of hugging. Yeah.
He gets him in the Beast gets Bruce Willis in a hug kind of early on, and Bruce Willis. I don't know if it was acting or it was intentional, but it didn't seem like the hug was doing much to him.
No.
He looked uncomfortable, mildly.
He was an uncomfortable,
but he wasn't like we get another scene where a guy gets hugged in this, and he takes it a little worse.
Right, yeah, I would say 7 spinal breaks at least.
Maybe now just now thinking about it was, again, he's unbreakable. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just he couldn't get out of it. It wasn't hurting him at all. And then, of course, again, we get this recognition that the Beast immediately realized that this guy is something different. And he knows that the Beast actually has competition. Because the Beast has never, he's walked through everyone else also. And he's never.
life.
And what's amazing is, you get the sense that both these guys think they're alone in the world, but when they run into each other, they finally realize that, oh, they're not the only ones. That there's other people that have these super strength and superpowers and whatnot. So they fight. He throws him out of the building, right?
Right.
After he can't hug him to death.
Of course.
Can't hug him, throws him out of the building. The girls get away.
They do.
Right?
And they pick up their friend.
Yeah.
who has a broken arm.
Who got a bad end of
no concussion, anything else?
She got the bad end of the deal, though.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, definitely.
Out of the 4, she was the one that got a table thrown at her.
You know what? I bet they're all pretty happy they didn't get eaten alive, so.
Yeah, and the girls did great did a great job people. As freaking out when they saw him, which was exactly would be my sense too. And let me tell you, M. Night Shyamalan is one of the best at making tension in scenes, thrillers, thrilling scenes. He's very good at giving you the sense that you should also be scared with there, that something is also wrong. Because when you're there and you're even the scene where we knew it was the Bruce Willis coming in or whatever, you can get how scared they were. The sense it makes you scared also. Where he's very good at making those high tension scenes. That's one of his best. And this, we'll skip ahead, but just like the scene where they're 3 in the room or whatever, the pink room, and they're talking about.
That was one of my favorite.
That was one of my favorite scenes. It was a really good thrilling scene. So he gets thrown out the window, right?
Right.
They're still fighting. The cops come, or Sarah Paulson comes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Because at this point, how the cops even get there?
How do they know?
Did the kid call the cops?
No, and they didn't trace the kid's thing.
And so they had no idea.
But they were looking for Kevin.
Yeah, but they surround this.
Yeah, they surrounded it. So how did they know?
Like they've known for a while.
Yeah.
So, but that kind of leads into more of the. But at that point, even watching, I'm like, well, this is kind of dumb. How the fuck did the cops all get there? And they always get there at the very end and whatnot. But they capture.
All 3 of them.
They capture the beast by light.
Or 2 of them.
Yeah. They capture the beast by light, and then they capture Bruce Willis. They kind of just tell him.
They just tell him, you're coming with us. And he's like, all right.
Because he doesn't want to hurt cops, I guess. That was the cool thing, was like, you can. Well, what was cool was like Sarah Paulson was like, you can leave, but you would have to hurt a lot of people to leave. And he's not a bad guy, right? He doesn't hurt cops. So, and then they get captured, right? And they're sent to this psychiatric hospital where who else is staying for 19 years?
Mr. Glass.
Who's been locked away.
He has been.
And let me tell
heavily
you.
Sedated.
Heavily. I mean, he's like, one eye is twitching most of the time. He doesn't have control of his eyes, I don't think. But they're very wary that he is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I like the scene where they talk about how he memorized a blueprint one time when they were walking him out of his room or something. And it was an electrician with blueprint of the outline of all electricity, and he ended up knocking out the power to the whole building just from his room.
Right.
So it really sets up that he is like
a super genius.
Super, like Stephen Hawking's Titan 10.
He's always 20 steps ahead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But he's been locked away for 19 years. That's the crazy thing. 19 years. And I'm guessing he's had this whole kind of wing to himself. And
what they didn't really touch up too much on is why he was locked up for 19 years. He was responsible for 2 terrorist attacks.
Oh, he's a mass murderer. Yeah. He's by
the end of Unbreakable.
He's by far the worst out of.
Which they did bring up the train, but not the other attack as much.
Yeah.
But
he's locked. And at this point, he's so dangerous. They're like 3 days away from giving him what I assume was like a lobotomy, a high-tech lobotomy. Right. That was the whole thing.
Is that what it was?
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah. It was going to make him a little more dull,
right?
With it. Where that for I think that's for sure what it was. Where they were just so he's 3 days away because he's too dangerous and they can't make any progress or whatever. Well, they can't really talk to him at all because
any talking to him, get information out.
So it's really kind of counterproductive. But they do kind of say we're like Sarah Paulson makes it clear in 3 days if we can't get to him or whatever we got to. Or she needs to convince him that he's not a superhero.
He's not a superhero.
Which, how can you convince him anything when he's
super genius?
Methed out.
Yeah.
Or when he's just...
Well, yeah, that's that too.
So they all kind of meet and they introduce their rooms and how they're going to stop them or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And Bruce Willis's room is covered in nozzles. They're going to drown him because they know. So somehow she knows a shit ton about all of them. Mm-hmm. Like she's been doing research on him or whatever.
For years, yeah.
So she knows about that, and she knows about his weakness and everything, and she knows that light is what changes personalities. So they lock Kevin Crumb up, James McAvoy.
Room full of lights.
That every time they think he is going to get aggressive, they'll switch a light, and he'll switch characters.
Right.
Or he'll switch personalities. That's a big thing. And for Samuel Jackson, they just keep him drugged up.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll switch personalities, but the ones that aren't the aggressive ones. Yeah, so it'll always switch back to a non-aggressive.
So again, it's motion censored and it's also controlled. And again, at this point, security I thought was very lax in the building.
Yeah,
they have two nurses on hand. They have one guy, only one guy.
One guy inside the cage too.
But all this kind of makes sense towards the end. It all kinds of makes it. But this is what an hour into this movie, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to fucking hate this movie. I mean, just because I thought, oh, how dumb. This is the most dangerous man in the world. You're going to put one guy's watching all the cameras. They say they should, but towards the end, it all makes sense. But we'll get into that. So she needs to convince, her job is, Sarah Paulson's specialty is she works with people who think they're superhuman.
Right.
And her whole job is to convince them that they're just crazy, right? Mm-hmm. That they're just...
That they're delusional.
Yeah, and that this is kind of the whole thing of the movie, right?
Right. She breaks down each one of them for him later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, and this is kind of the whole overarching plot of the movie, is what makes a superhero and everything, and is it just regular people? And what's really interesting it does is halfway through you're starting to think with the characters, because halfway through she's starting to convince everyone, and halfway through, at least as an audience, I'm starting to think, oh, maybe he's not, maybe this is all just bullshit, maybe it is just because everything relies in a reality where it is all possible.
Right, of course.
He is super strong, but he's not lifting buses. He's human strong still. He's amazingly strong where we never get to see what his potential. He's bending steel and stuff, but it still relies in a level of reality where you can still second guess it. Where even he's second guessing it. And then she even gets, because they even start talking about oh, maybe you just have a strong person, or you just have a strong sense of who's bad, and how there's people, mentalist, who can tell just people. But just by so it starts getting to where you start questioning kind of everything, and I really like that.
And she even went into the zoo, how he bent the bars, how the zoo was the first zoo ever built in 1860 something,
and how
the shotgun shells were.
So we should just dive into that scene, because that is
God, I cannot clear my throat.
Let's talk about that scene, because that is one of my favorite scenes. Like you were just saying, I think it was one of your favorite too. That scene where they go into the light pink room.
Yeah.
All pink
all three of them are sitting there. And different. I love the color scheme throughout this whole friggin' movie.
The art design, the color scheme, the sets, those were all fucking amazing. Great. We'll talk about how color was such an important role.
All three movies too.
Yep. Bruce Willis, he's always in green because that's kind of green symbolizes life, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a protector of life.
Right.
That's what he does. He protects the innocent, and he does that. Kevin or James McAvoy's character is always in a yellow or a light color, because I think it's religious, like a monk's, or it's those soft colors and that's what the Horde is. It's a religion. It's this group of people. It's this group of people that just happen to take place in one person,
right? But
it's all this and
you see that with the head of Patricia being very Catholic-like and very prestigious,
and even
up front.
And even the dialogue you give with James McAvoy, why he's the beast. And when he's the beast, it's all very biblical, it's a long time coming and how it's the end times and everything.
Right.
So his muted yellow kind of mustard colors kind of represent religion. And then Elijah, Samuel Jackson, is that purple color. And that purple color represents wealth and kind of nobility, where he thinks, because in his mind he is
the best, or he's the most intelligent person in the world.
He is a god among men. That's what he is. And so and the colors play a huge role. And once they're all locked up and they've all
and
kind
purple's
of
the color of royalty as well.
Exactly. That's royalty. Yeah. And so we get, and I don't know if we're skipping any scenes between them coming in. We see that the staff are kind of dicks. They're typical staff where they're kind of assholes and they're kind of weird. But we haven't talked about the three like sub main characters. We talked about son. We haven't talked. Well, we talked about the girl.
The girl.
The girl plays a big part, and the mom. But they all play huge roles in it, way bigger characters than I thought they were gonna play.
Yeah,
which was kind of I could have done without. I thought I could have done without.
And I just thought it was weird how she, like Sarah Paulson's character, was really trying to get on Casey to help. It's like, dude, she was just kidnapped by him 3 weeks ago. You're like, you have to help him. It's like, no, she don't have to do shit.
And those, and we don't need to dive into them yet, but towards the end, it's almost like an origin story of these three characters. Like we're gonna get another movie with two young kids and some super old lady, and it's gonna be the worst superhero team of all time. But so they're super involved. She's still obsessed with James McAvoy, right? She thinks he's innocent, or even though he's killed.
Well, because she met Kevin.
Yes.
In the movie in Split.
And saw the real him.
And saw who he was.
So she's obsessed. She comes and visits him.
And they have that connection because she was abused and he was abused as well by his mom.
Exactly. Yeah. And I should have watched Split before I watched Glass.
Yeah.
Because I did forget a lot about it. And it also goes into flashbacks with his mom and everything.
Yeah, it does.
And it goes in Glass, it goes into the history, his background more than I think Split ever even did. Where it shows his mom and dad a lot also. And it shows his dad a lot for the first time.
Oh, for Kevin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
So we get a big background and we get flashbacks through the whole thing. And we get flashbacks from Unbreakable also.
God, so great the way he used that footage.
Yeah. Some scenes that weren't used in Unbreakable, he used in this.
Because that opening train scene, it told so much about Bruce Willis in Unbreakable. He's taking off his wedding ring and everything.
Yeah.
And then he reused that footage to tie in to Glass.
And that's the thing about this movie is it had to been daunting to do because you can't assume that everyone has seen Unbreakable. I mean, you can't assume everyone's seen Split, so you really have to toe this line where you have to show enough to get the sense of who, because Bruce Willis, I mean, all these characters, they're all great, but they all don't have, there's not like one main role. No. For sure. Yeah. It's all split. It's kind of even split between these 6 characters with the 3 young people.
Almost, yeah.
So you really have to show kind of enough, you have to do this background where you show enough Bruce Willis and you kind of, because every character, because even Elijah, you had to show backgrounds or backstory of him with his mom, and stuff. The Tilt-A-Whirl scene, where it gets on.
That's right.
That was
brutal.
That was a big scene. Yeah, let me tell you, Tilt-A-Whirl's dangerous for regular bone density.
People. Yeah, imagine having that.
Yeah, imagine having
condition.
Yeah. Ooh. So he sees and they did a really good job of all that stuff but not doing it where it was like half of the movie was flashback.
Right.
They did enough where you knew enough without having to see. But you're right.
I
loved how
they told so much in just little segments.
Yeah.
Little flashbacks. It was really well done as far as putting those pieces together.
Yeah. So she comes in and she talks to Kevin for a second, right? This is before they all meet for the first time together. So she comes in. So at this time, Sarah Paulson is individually going into the rooms and meeting with all of them, and now she's kind of implanting this idea in their head that there might not be what they think they are.
Right, and that meeting was their final meeting. Remember that too.
Yes, that was the last meeting.
Yeah.
So right now she's going in and she's playing, and the Bruce Willis scene was really good when she goes in and she's like, she kind of tells him like, oh, this is a door. If you want to break it down, you could do it. And all this, and how maybe it's all in your head, and maybe, you lost your. And she gets into it because his wife dies, which we didn't get into. Whose wife is played by Robin Wright.
Right, Robin Wright.
Young Robin Wright that I knew when you were. Yeah,
man, you know me. I love Robin Wright. I think she is fantastic.
But
everything she does.
She died in this from cancer or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might have been ovarian cancer.
Yeah, I think 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 5 years from when the movie.
So Sarah Paulson, she starts saying, maybe this is
Why do you think that is? Out of curiosity, side note. Do you think they couldn't sign Robin Wright back, or do you think it just worked
for
better?
The story? I think it just works better for the story. It's easier, I think, especially because it would have been harder if he had his wife and the son also kind of worrying about him the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
And a big part of this is he never told his wife that he had powers. That's a huge part of this. Is he kind of, his whole regret is that even when...
Remember? At the end of Unbreakable, at the table when he's showing his son the newspaper and he goes, shh.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought you were telling me to be quiet.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
But yeah, exactly. The whole thing, and that's kind of something he's lived with that we see is that even he never got the chance to tell her, and he regrets that obviously the entire time.
Right.
So yeah, so she goes, and then Sarah Paulson, she goes into James McAvoy's room and kind of just convince him that he's crazy. It's not hard. It's not real hard to get him to start doubting that he's crazy, because he already has these other characters that have always doubted him, because the Horde, they're all kind of for, but there's a bunch of them that kind of go off on their own and start saying there's one guy that really doesn't like killing, kind of like the Irish guy or Scottish or something. He doesn't like the killing at all, and then there's like this one Hispanic lady who's out of it.
Yeah, it was just
she doesn't like
what?
it. Yeah. So she goes in there, convinces them, or she's not convincing, but she's just implanting these ideas in the back of their head just to get them thinking. And then she goes in Elijah's room and starts telling him, but he gives no reaction. I mean, you might as well be talking to a brick wall at this point. But and she tells him about the 3 days and everything, and the evaluation, but at this point, James McAvoy sees that Bruce Willis is like his roommate, or he's right across the hall from him.
Right. And
they're both super concerned about them each getting out.
I guess so.
For some reason, the Beast was very concerned that he was going.
They both look at each other. I was like, you're both in here.
But, yeah. So they're captured, and then we get... Does anything else happen between that? There's that whole subplot with the three side characters. I didn't care for much, and I don't know if I'm skipping over anything with them.
I don't think so.
Okay, so we get into the room, right? The light pink room.
Right.
And again, color plays a huge role in this. I think it was from like that light pink it was lighter than red, so it was kind of to show that maybe they're starting to get these ideas that they're not what they think they are. So it's starting to fade. So whereas that room could have been red at the start, where they're all very sure that they're all superheroes, or now it's starting to fade, and that idea is starting to fade. Because this scene is a scene where they all start guessing, or they all start thinking that questioning. Questioning. Mm-hmm. And this, we should just break down, because this is probably my favorite scene, where they're all in individual different color suits and everything, and they're all wheeled in, and then she just fucking breaks them down. She does a great job of making you think that they're all fake. She tells them about the bars, and how the bars at the zoo that he bent were 100 years old, and how she bent them.
Shells were
old and moisture. Yep. She's feeding him all this bullshit, right? And then now everyone's starting to think that they're not superhuman. And she tells, and she starts telling Bruce about everything, and how he's leading his son down this path, that his son is going to go be crazy also, and all this.
Because of him.
Yeah.
Because he has this delusion that he's a superhero.
That he's a superhero, and it's hurting his son. And his son also shares the delusion, and she says that she's really just fucking chopping him down. And she talks to Samuel. Again, Samuel doesn't give a lot. Yep. He gives a wink and everything, and that's kind of the end of that scene. But that's the scene where they all start to think that they're not what they think they are anymore, and they all go back to the room thinking they're just crazy people.
Right.
And then it becomes this reality that there is no superhumans, and that it's the world that we live in now.
Exactly.
The world where these things can't happen. And a big thing is, where she's like, if there's superheroes, why is there only 3 of you? And Bruce Willis kind of goes, oh shit, she's right. Point. Yeah. And then he's like, you're right. Why is there only, if there's been 3, why is there not hundreds or thousands of us? Why is it just now happening? And that's the whole thing where Sarah Paulson's like, you guys,
gotcha,
come
bitch.
on. So that happens. To go back to their room, right?
Right.
And then it's nightfall, right? Does anything else happen between the mad meeting? This whole start, it's probably an hour in between the start of Bruce Willis finding James McAvoy and then this scene, and then at that point is when the movie really starts kind of kicking off.
Right, because then Mr. Glass wheels his way into...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So typical Glass-esque fashion, he's been hiding his pills.
Of course he has.
Which is very smart because he's been...
And he explained it too, which made sense.
Exactly.
With switching it out with the Advil to make sure the weight's the same. And I was like, ooh, that's smart.
And just to make sure they see him eating a pill or whatever. But like, you got to inject him, right?
Yeah,
you can't rely orally on
oral pills. No. Terrible idea. Yeah. Come on now.
But so of course he hasn't been sedated. So what I really liked is how long has he been planning this? 9 years? Mm-hmm. I mean, has it been since he knocked the power out? He's probably been
a while
biding his time for 9 years, which is insane.
And that was a really good scene too. We should talk about before he wheels out, but the one with the security guard.
Yes.
Where he's eyeballing him and he takes the flashlight and he goes, if I drop this flashlight on you... Because, dude, I was even getting panicky. I was like, dude, don't do it.
That security guard, it was fucking great. He's in a show on Amazon. Have you heard of The Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Yes, I have.
He plays a Lenny Bruce, an old comedian, but he's amazing in that. But yeah, that scene is great. Remember, they're like prepping because there's only 3 of them in this entire wing of hospital. So it's just them the entire time. And it's been just Mr. Glass for the last 19 years or whatever. So, and remember, they walk by and his door is wide open. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing where it's tense and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And they're all panicking. They're like, well, how the hell did his door? You must have. So that happens, and then they kind of cut, and then he wheels
him back in.
He's wheeled, and then it's nighttime, and Samuel Jackson, he's out of his room. He's just wheeled, and it kind of reminds me of the scene that I thought he was going to do the same thing. Remember the scene in Unbreakable when he's in the comic book store? Samuel Jackson, and he's in a wheelchair. And
he's in the back, and he's like, hey, you better not be beaten off to the...
and it's the same guy who's in this one. Yeah, and remember, he wheels him, and Samuel Jackson keeps, like, kicking his...
Turning the
guy's getting
wheelchair,
super annoyed. Yeah. I thought he was going to do the same thing in this one when he wheels him in, but it didn't happen. But, anyways, it's same thing. They kind of wheels him in, and he's like, what the fuck? How do you keep getting out of here? So he wheels him back in, and the guy's freaking out. The guy kind of gets the inkling that he's faking it. So he tries to bluff him. Tries to drop the heavy, which would just shatter.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, just thinking about that with bone density and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that shatters your bones.
And again, it shows the creativity and the good directorial of M. Night Shyamalan, because that scene keeps going and it keeps getting tense and tense. And to the scene where I did think he was going to drop it on him.
So did I. Yeah.
But Samuel, the cold-blooded fucking killer he is, Elijah, he doesn't move, doesn't flinch.
He's had 94 breaks.
Yeah.
So he's used to them.
But still, the pain is so horrible. But he knows, of course, he knows this is his last chance.
Right.
Before.
At ever getting out.
Yeah.
Ever doing anything.
So he doesn't drop it, the heavy flashlight, unfortunately. It gets very close, though. Very. Like centimeters.
Yeah.
And the guy's kind of freaked out, so he lets him go. Or he leaves Elijah to his own devices, right?
Right.
And then, so what happens after that? How does he get out? Oh, no, that's the end of that scene,
Yeah,
right?
that's the end of that scene. That was it.
That was it.
We know why later on.
I forgot about that.
Why he just went out of his room.
So it ends right there, yeah, and that's it. And then...
Because remember, they said, check the pill, see if they're all accounted for. No, everything's accounted for.
Yep. So then, so it does like a hard cut to the next scene, and it's them like forcibly waking him up.
Yes.
Right, the staff, and they're saying, Elijah, we checked, because she tells him earlier that there's cameras everywhere. They put 100 cameras in the room just to watch all of them.
And she told him that earlier on, too,
yeah,
in the movie.
And again, it's so hard not to talk about the end because there's so much building up to the end.
There is.
Because it's so... Cause even the cameras play a role in why... We'll get to it, though. And so there's cameras. There's a shit ton of cameras, and And so they wake him up. They say that they saw the cameras. They saw what he did. He wheeled out. He kind of went to a few other rooms and messed around. They saw all that. They saw him go into Kevin's room.
Right. And have that conversation with him.
Yeah, well, but we don't see that conversation yet.
Right, we don't see that conversation yet.
So they saw him go in there, and they saw him because he wasn't hiding. He was wheeling around everywhere. And so they wake him up, they say, because they think he did something. So they say they got to do a surgery now. So they get him in surgery, one of many twists.
Mini twists.
Yeah. So they get him into surgery. They're doing surgery, right? And they complete the surgery. It's a laser. It's a laser surgery, so there's no incision or anything. And they just put him back in the room. They think he's kind of catatonic now and whatnot, and that's it for him, right? Do they do anything with Bruce Willis or anything at this scene?
They do not. Not with Willis, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So how and then
he kind of took a back seat during this portion of the film.
Yeah,
we didn't see him a whole lot during this 35-minute.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not doing. I mean, he's really not doing. Right, anything.
He's not doing anything.
He's the only one where
he's there for the end.
The pieces that are being moved are Elijah, and because again he says it's the bad guys teaming up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I love. The dialogue to me was sometimes shaky in scenes, but when Samuel's delivering dialogue, it's good. I think a 4-year-old could write his lines and he could deliver something good.
Oh yeah,
I love even though I love the scene where he's like, "Well, that sounds like the bad guys teaming up." It's so awesome.
Yeah, and
it gets you pumped. But yeah. So we go, and at this point, you think he's done now. His brain's all fried. They don't need to.
Bye, Mr. Glass.
No more Mr. Glass.
Nope.
He's just pointless now. You can't even touch him. He'll shatter. And his mom, it shows his mom through a lot of this.
It does.
And I like the scenes with his mom, and I like the scene where she's explaining to the kids how he was just too smart for everyone and how dangerous and how they had to. The scenes with the mom are really good.
They're always good.
Yeah.
And it gives you a glimpse as to why he is the way that he was.
Exactly. And even this...
even in Unbreakable.
In Unbreakable, those were some of the best scenes with his mom. Because it's just so goddamn sad.
It is.
Where it was...
But she's like, go out and play outside. And he's like, I don't want to.
But it all mirrors these comic books. It all mirrors this kind of overarching, all the stories of comic books, all the origin story, how the villain, something happens to him, and because he is convinced, Samuel Jackson is convinced they are living in a comic book, that the lines do blur, that all comic books are based in reality, and that they're all written off what someone else saw.
It really is a great concept.
It is an amazing concept, and that's really what Unbreakable. That was why it was so, groundbreaking, the first one, because it's such a smart concept.
Oh, especially now,
and it's only aged better, especially with how
superhero movies
and how
are
predictable
today.
They are, and how they all follow that same structure.
Yeah.
But okay, so what happens after that? After they fry his brain.
After they fry
Elijah, Mr. Glass.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what happened next.
So they go. What is it? Does it cut to how?
Where's Kevin at this point? He's still in his room, and so is David.
Yeah, they haven't done anything. They haven't seen each other or anything. But so I think it just cuts. Does it cuts to Elijah, what he does, or how he does it?
Yeah, I think it had to. I think it did. I don't know. I don't remember, dude.
So it goes.
I remember how the movie ends, but I'm trying not to spoil the ending.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it goes. I think it does.
Oh no! This is how it goes. I remember now. Mr. Glass. So he gets escorted back to his room, right? And he gets propped up, and he gets helped sit up on his bed.
Okay. Yeah.
And with the nurse.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like. And he slits his throat.
Yes, so it does. It does happen almost immediately,
instantaneously after.
So they're wheeling him back from surgery, and they're propping him up, and he slits the guy's throat very quickly
with
glass. And I like he says, "You have no idea how long it took to find the right piece."
Right.
Like, he's been doing, and then it shows, and he has like this huge pile of glass that he's been. That I don't even know where he got it from, but so and then the play's in motion. That's when the dominoes start to fall.
Yep.
He slits the guy's throat. He goes straight to McAvoy's room, right?
Yep.
Because he's got to get teamed up. So he tries to convince him. He tells him he can shut off the lights or whatever, and he tells them that he needs to see the Beast and whatnot, and then they got team up. And McAvoy says a great line about, "I hope the Beast likes you."
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be real fucked. Because the Beast is gonna walk through glass bones like nothing. He's gonna turn you into dust. But so they team up. They kind of talk about everything and how Bruce Willis is his equal match and whatnot.
Right.
And then does it get into how Elijah how he kind of did it all? Should we start talking about that?
It does after they get outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it talks about how he broke out to be seen. Mm-hmm. Right? They wanted him to see him because they wanted him to move the surgery up and everything to play into motion. But really, he was getting out, and why he was out, he went
to the machine and took out the instrument.
He went to the surgery machine, took out the instrument. He also went to the camera room, the surveillance room, where he had all that, and he wrote
some code.
Wrote in a cool code.
Yeah, wrote some code. So, we'll see what that's about later on.
He wrote in some code, but he also a big moment was he went in to read the Beast's file.
Right.
Because at this point, he doesn't know anything about the Beast.
No.
He just knows that this guy came in, that he's a superhuman. Mm-hmm. So he reads about the powers and everything, but then he sees something that stops him. Remember, he reads something and he drops. Because remember, he's reading the name and he's like, Kevin Crumb. And he names the name and he's like, oh, fuck. And he drops.
He dropped it.
And, But we don't know why at that moment. We don't know what. But he knows that we saw him something. And I had no. Did you have any idea?
No idea.
Yeah,
no, I didn't. That was actually a twist for me. I was like, "Whoa!" Okay.
At the very end, because there was so many twists towards the end, I almost forgot that whole scene took place of the file and everything.
Yep,
And then you
so
kind
did
of.
I.
So something happens where he reads a file and something crazy happens, right? Or he reads something crazy,
right?
But the whole point was to be seen. Because remember, he's going around, he's kind of doing wheelies.
Yeah, he's doing wheelies in right above the camera.
Yeah. And he thinks he's like the master, or he thinks he got away with it all, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he tells Kevin that what they need to do is go to the tallest tower in Philadelphia. And they make it very clear. They say it like 9 times. This is the tallest tower. They really
got to do battle up there.
Yeah, they got to do battle. They got to show you where... Because all the cameras, they're opening up this building, so the world wants to see, and the world's gonna finally see that there is superhumans and whatnot. Right. And and then Mr. Glass also takes a little trip, or first Mr. Glass gets his purple suit.
Oh, you got to get the purple suit first.
You got to get the purple suit. You're not Mr. Glass with the purple suit.
You're not.
And who sees him? And another smart thing is before this, Mr. Glass, he knew that the guy coming previously, the guy with his neck shift, was a talker, so he knew he had enough time. So that's when he went in and talked to McAvoy, because he knew he had enough time. So they go in, get the suit. He's going beast mode. McAvoy's going beast mode already. He's fired up. They shut the lights off. Who finds him in there?
In the little closet, or not closet, but a little library kind of, or not library, the shelf place.
It was where they kept all the patients.
That's right.
Goods when they came in.
Yeah.
Who
the
is
other
it?
guy,
Flashlight Dick,
guy,
Joker who likes
asshole.
to throw on flashlights.
Yep.
And this guy needed a hug, I guess, and he gets hugged.
Best hug I've ever seen.
It does its job.
I guess.
What a warm hug. This hug
received by the Beast.
This hug does work.
It does.
It does work. It does. And this is it goes on for a good 30, 45 minutes. Or not 45 seconds.
Yeah, it does.
Where he's crushing this guy. Him. And this guy does a good job of the death crush.
He does.
Much better than Bruce Willis, where
he's like,
it lasts, where you're hearing snaps, and the whole time you're thinking, is that the last snap? And because the guy, it's a very good scene, but man, and let me tell you, McAvoy is he's big in Split. He's big in this too.
Yeah, when he goes, jacked.
But it's such a difference from when he's regular, when he's just walking around.
Right.
But when he goes to Beast, he does look fucking.
He does.
Yeah, but. So he crushes this guy. This guy's crushed. Jackson goes to he tells Bruce Willis that he shut off all the nozzles, right?
Yeah, all the water nozzles.
All the water nozzles, and that the only thing separating him is like this 3-inch steel door.
And that's all you got to do.
Which is a big fucking door.
You are a superhuman.
Yep.
Superhero.
And that plays the whole thing where Bruce Willis, at this point, he does believe that is just kind of crazy and that he is maybe just all this stuff was in his head.
Yep.
And that he was just actually somewhat stronger than most people were. And Samuel does a great job provoking him. And like, if you're a human, you wouldn't be able to get through this door. He's like, it's just this door separating you. And he tells him he's going to the tower and a lot of people are going to die.
Right.
That's what he says. Yep. He says a lot of people have to die. And that's what Samuel does.
And that's the great motivator right there.
Yeah.
That's a good ultimatum. Sit in this room.
Well, he fucking knows that Samuel's a man of his word when he comes where Samuel, he's in the business of making superheroes.
Exactly.
And he knows that tragedy leads to. Yep. So every tragedy he believes he's committing, he's producing some kind of superhuman or just something's good is happening from these tragedies that he's committing. So he always thinks he's in the right, but Bruce knows that this guy's batshit crazy. So he's got to beat that door down. Pretty much. Does.
He does.
He does. He beats the door down, but
took him a couple tries, but he got it down.
Yep. Oh yeah. And at this point, there's no alarms or anything going on.
Nothing.
So you kind of get the sense that something's not right. People have been killed. We see security. Security's not rushing in or anything like that.
Because they only have one security guard at the tapes.
Well, that's like a nurse. They have security guards like on the outside of the building, I guess, but nothing in the actual wing. And Sarah Paulson isn't here because it's like happening at night. But they come in and they find that all the security guards are dead. Bruce Willis is walking around. He's got to go get his green coat.
Yep.
Because you can't fight without your purple suit or your green coat.
You cannot.
Gets his green coat. He sees them outside. Him and McAvoy, Jackson and McAvoy are about to wheel themselves.
Yes.
Well, they're about to go get into the van to go to the tower, right?
Right.
And the tower's like directly in front of the building. It's like in distance.
Literally
it's a perfect view.
Yeah,
it's a perfect view of
like in between the trees. Yeah.
It's literally a straight shot. You could run, you could hit it. But so Bruce Willis, he goes out there. Sarah Paulson, she's getting there at this time. She's seeing that throats have been slit.
And so was Casey. Casey was there randomly too.
Casey was there also.
Yeah, why?
Yes.
I forget.
Why was she there? Was it random?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Because we get to the point where, or before that, Sarah Paulson's character was telling Casey that she needs her and that she's the only hope to save him. But why she was there on that day?
No idea.
Zero clue. Maybe, no idea. I can't even make up a reason. But she is there. They're all there, actually. Oh, no, I remember why they're there. All three of them go there to like plead.
To help her out. That's right.
Yeah, all three of them go there to plead, to tell them that they're not crazy or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because that was the final day. Okay, yeah.
Because the old lady was there, Samuel's mom, the son was there, Casey was there. Because that's when they go, because that's when the kids see on the cameras what's going on. That's how they know to go outside, right? So everyone's there. It's a fucking reunion. They're there. Samuel Jackson, then we're about to get in the van. Of course, the Beast, he's kidnapped a girl. He's got to have a snack on the way. Throws her in the van. And, so they're there. They're ready for it. And they start going at it, right?
They do.
Bruce and shoving match.
Yes.
But we get an awesome scene of McAvoy running on all fours across the lawn.
Which was pretty well done.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I liked it a lot too. Yeah. It showed that he was a beast or whatever. But
I thought they could have made him a little heavier.
Yeah, me too.
On the impact, but other than that, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, because obviously he was wired.
Yeah.
Because he did look a little light on the
right.
But we get, and it's a pretty good scene. It's a shoving match and whatnot, and cops come, and McAvoy goes through. He walks through these fucking cops pretty easily.
Like nothing.
Yeah, which is awesome. And a scene I thought was a little silly was Bruce shoving all the cops into just like their
With the shields, yeah.
Yeah, just dumb cops you could just mound up and shove
shove away.
Yeah. But again, that's a scene where it shows, and that's a scene where Bruce Willis, he has to bend steel to keep them in there.
He does.
So there's no more cops. They're still fighting. They're still going at it. Samuel Jackson is provoking the entire thing, right? And before this, we kind of got into that Kevin's dad left his mom, right? And then his mom went crazy, and that was kind of what the whole thing that started was because Kevin's dad left.
Yes.
And that's when his mom went crazy, and the mom took it out on Kevin.
Right.
So the whole thing is his dad left. Mm. Remember that because it's important.
Oh, it's a huge point. Yeah.
But and Elijah tells the Beast that Bruce's weakness is water.
Right.
And looking for them, there's a big water tank out there because they had to use the water to kill Bruce just in case. The Beast throws Bruce into the water.
Of course.
And not only that, the Beast goes in the water with him.
Did he not punch? No, he punched Samuel L. Jackson in the stomach first and then dragged him in the water.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
So that's
a big point too.
Yeah, okay.
But that's but we should talk about the plot twist because the plot twist happened before that fight scene happened.
Okay, yeah, go ahead then.
The whole giant plot twist was in fact that Kevin's dad was on the train. The unbreakable train.
The 711 or the 177 East Rail. Yep. Yeah.
Train that Bruce Willis was on, David.
And that was the scene where Samuel was going through the files, and because he has such a fucking amazing memory,
right?
That he probably read in the newspaper that because at some point they probably gave a list of all the people that died, and Kevin's dad's last name was Crumb. Because when he first saw the name, he couldn't really place it, but he knew it was familiar, and then he connects. Oh shit.
Right.
I made him.
You made the superhero,
Yes. And so now Samuel thinks he is fucking God at this point.
Yeah.
But you're right. And this is a scene where they're all in front of the hospital. The fight's happening. Sarah Paulson comes down. She tells Kevin that Elijah killed his dad.
Yep.
And that was the whole reason that he is like this. Kevin does not take it well.
I would say not. No.
He grabs Elijah once by the shoulder, crushes
his shoulder blade.
He does. I can't remember the line, but he does a great scene of how they he does something along the lines of how they can't be together anymore and how it just wouldn't work and how it's not going to work out for the Beast. Shoves him, gives him another little punch to the stomach.
Crushes his ribcage.
Samuel gives out a bloody scream. Yes. He knows he's fucked up. But Samuel at this point, he's trying to we'll get to them, but Samuel knows he's not going anywhere.
No.
He knows, but he tells the Beast that he tells him that you wouldn't be here without me and that he created him and that the whole reason is he has these powers. And the Beast does acknowledge it. He's like, you're right. Because the whole movie is split is power through suffering.
Exactly.
Right? That was the whole, with even Casey, with her being molested and the dad. It's all about power or suffering. And the Beast acknowledges it. He's like, you're right. You did create me, but you're also kind of a dick. So he kills him.
So yeah.
Or he doesn't kill me. Well, he crushes him. And then at that point, he runs over to Bruce Willis, throws Bruce into the water.
And that was a cool scene. I thought they did that really well when he went and picked him up like a football player.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, it looked really, and
it looked good.
He kind of gave him the big shoulder push or whatever, and he threw him in. Those scenes did look good. The action scenes look good. It was just the choreography that I thought was weird.
Odd choice.
Odd choice with the pushing and not the punching and everything. Yeah. But we do get good scenes where they're fighting around that van and Bruce is punching and it's kind of making dents in the van or he's pushing. But so he throws him in there, and what I did not expect is the Beast goes right in after him into the water.
Right. Yeah.
Which probably would have worked just as well if he just threw him in there. But he's a beast. He's an animal. He doesn't know what he's doing. He throws it in there. They're going at it. The water tank explodes.
Of course, because he keeps hitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruce is all right and whatnot. The son's there at this point, and so more cops arrive, right?
Right.
Sarah Paulson, she's calling in more cops. Bruce is hurt. He's drowned. Water hurts him. Everything's kind of at this point, everyone's kind of hurt, except for Kevin. who's Kevin's still doing very well, the Beast.
I would say so.
He's about to run off to the tower. He's going to do his own thing.
He's 2 for 2 right now at this point.
Yeah, he's going to do his own thing where he's still going to commit to the idea of the tower opening, because it was a good idea.
It was a great idea.
You can't knock the idea.
Great
also,
publicity.
Samuel was bad guy. You can't. It's still a good idea. But he's running, and who's to catch him? Who's to grab his arm? Casey.
It's like the Bruce Banner thing.
Exactly. The whole thing is touch, human touch. He never got human touch. He only got beat, which is a very common thing with psychopaths in general.
Right.
I mean, they don't become superheroes, but like that's the thing is, and the touch is what saves him. He's just isn't been touched by anyone.
Right.
And the touch, and every time she touches him, Kevin comes to the light. Right. And Kevin is the weakest out of all of them. As in he's the weakest where he's the easiest to turn nice.
Right. Yeah.
So she touches him. It's a touchy scene. It's good acting. They do a good job. But the whole scene is we see the sniper in the background because Kevin comes to the light.
He's not changes. He's human.
Yeah. But we get a weird little wrist shot of a little clover tattoo on the sniper.
Yeah.
And it's enough to point where, okay, that's kind of strange.
Yeah,
that's not
odd.
just a regular tattoo.
Right.
He shoots Kevin. Kevin takes the bullet, not like the Beast where it bounces off, and he dies right there in the arm of Casey. And
God, that was a good moment too. Great acting when he's going through Edwig and all of them.
Yes, when he's switching back and forth. James McAvoy, you cannot
express
enough.
We really have not talked enough.
No, we did not do
it.
Yeah,
because his performance was in this. Like, it really is.
You could break down each one of his characters, but the podcast would be 4 hours long.
Of course. Yeah, it'd be way too long.
We really didn't. I'm telling you, I say this, but it is Oscar worthy. His acting. This movie might not be the best movie in the world, but it's worth seeing alone.
Well, and the movie doesn't have to be incredible for you to have an Oscar nomination for Best Actor, does it? Or does the film overall have to do well too?
It's kind of. It's almost. Yeah. I mean, of course, that's not like a rule or anything where it has to. But it
kind of is.
But it's very unlikely for an actor to win with a bad movie. With a bad movie, yeah. But yeah. So who knows? But of course, it's all politics and bullshit anyway. So it's not.
Did you see? We didn't talk about it for movie news, but what the SAG-AFTRA Awards said to the Oscars, the Academy, the open letter to them.
No, I didn't see.
I guess the Academy was threatening other actors. And this is just according to SAG-AFTRA, but they were threatening other actors not to host the SAG-AFTRA Awards because they needed people. So they were like intimidating people not to do the SAG-AFTRA Awards, or there could be consequences for you can't
do two award ceremonies.
Crazy, dude. But there was an open letter for SAG. Like, you can check it out on their site. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I could not believe that. It's like, why would you be intimidating people?
I don't know.
The awards are for the actors.
It's such a bullshit.
For the producers and the directors who fucking work very hard doing what they do.
The SAG Awards are like such a small, like, I mean, it's a big word, but like no one really watches it. I mean, like unless you're
in the union, that kind of thing.
Those SAG Awards are more for the actors.
Yeah, they are.
They're more for the actors to kind of
honestly,
hang loose and get together.
That would be the one I'd want to.
Yeah, I would love to go to the Oscars, but the Oscars is much more formal, and that's much more for the business.
Right.
The Oscars. Exactly. But the SAG is more just let them do whatever the fuck they want.
What's so much fun about SAG-AFTRA is that all the union members get to vote on the awards.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Like, I get to vote. Everyone gets to vote who's in the union. So it makes it more. Guild. Yeah, it makes it more fun to watch because you get to participate.
Yeah, it's awesome. Whereas in the Oscars, it's only really rich, really rich people, and
they're like, "Yep, this wins."
Yeah, and people that All right, well let's finish this up, right? So Kevin's dead.
He is dead at this point.
Elijah's dead.
His mom
does the same kind of thing.
And that was a great end to with the mom. She goes, "What? This isn't the I can't remember the exact word, but this isn't the comic book way." And he goes, "This was not my story. This was an origin story."
And it's great, yeah. And yeah, but we'll get more into that, what that meant and everything. Yeah. But and it's kind of a 3-part where it's like, it does. What I liked about this movie is it does the opposite of comic book movies. Mm-hmm. Everyone died. Everyone dies.
Yep.
There's not an inkling that anyone's going to live past this. They're not going to come back in any way. I think they all died, and that's again what I liked a lot about that. Sets it apart from other superhero movies.
Right.
But this scene is like it's a 3-part death scene where she's with him.
Yep.
The son isn't with Bruce.
No.
Right now because something crazy happens to Bruce.
Right.
Where we should we just get into that?
Yeah, let's just get into it.
Where a cop comes over, drags Bruce.
Yeah.
And
to a puddle?
To a puddle, yeah. Well, it just had to be any amount of water.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing they assumed he was going to die from that. But they got to finish the job. And then a long scene, they drown him in a brutal scene. And Sarah Paulson even comes up.
Says, touch me.
Yeah.
You know,
and
she sees a flash of the organization.
It's
the Illuminati.
Who would have known? It's this hidden organization it's the 3 Clover Gang, or I don't know what it was. I don't know. But so he
been around for 10,000
He finally sees that the whole fucking thing is these people. This is the big twist: is these people knew superhumans existed.
Yes,
they're not an organization that knows that they don't exist. They're an organization that knows that for a fact that they do exist, and that the whole thing is for them to go in, discredit these people who believe they have powers, to turn them to believe that they are just crazy, and to convince the world that these people don't exist.
Right.
So
and they've been doing this for 10,000 years.
Yes, and for 10,000 years. And when Samuel says this is an origin story, it's an origin story for the world.
Right.
For the world is opening up to superheroes.
And we see that brilliantly done at the end.
So it keeps going. He sees that there's this big group of people that have all this time been hiding, and he sees when he grabs her that if he did stay in his room and did not break out, they would have most likely just let him go.
Right.
Because he would have been convinced that he's not a human. Mm-hmm. But for him to break out of the room to save those people, he killed himself, or he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, he knew it was a suicide mission. That's what it was.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It was a suicide mission for Samuel, no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, he knew 100% that he was never going to make it to the tower, because the big thing is,
and that's because he took the basement.
Yes.
Instead of
and the cameras, and then we find out that she installed all those cameras because those cameras were to show all the people in the organization.
Yep.
That she went in, that they showed that they were superhumans. She went in, she convinced them that they weren't. The big thing was that they wanted proof that they were.
Right.
Just because they didn't want to kill them without knowing that I guess they had some kind of morality.
Where
they don't just kill anyone. You have to actually be a superhuman. Okay. Then they kill you.
I'm glad they're ethical in some ways.
Yeah. I don't know. But, so they installed all those cameras, and Sarah fucking Paulson screwed up. Told him she did the thing.
Too much information.
She did the thing, even though they said the whole time he wasn't. There was a villain where he's not going to reveal the whole backstory. She fucking ended up being the villain, and she ended up revealing the whole backstory, and she ended up screwing up the whole thing.
Yep.
And it's so smart where the whole thing is they're the villain. It's Elijah isn't the villain at this point. It's this big organization. Where it's just like a comic book.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's really smart, and I thought it was really clever, that twist. And so he uses the cameras for his benefit, where he knows that he doesn't have to go to the tower now, that he has she brought the world to him, and he even says that at some point, I think. And the little code he wrote
was a live stream.
Was a live stream that he sent out to his mom.
To his mom, to private websites. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And when I saw that he sent it to his mom, I was thinking, oh my God, she's not going to know how to open up this email.
She has no idea.
She's going to go right to spam. She's going to delete it. This is never going to get out.
No.
This was a bad call, Samuel. But it gets sent out, and again, that's the origin story. The world is awoken, and she knows. Sarah Paulson knows, because it kind of goes to this. It goes through the flashback of she gets this oh shit moment where it like zooms in on there, and he goes in, and where she all fucked up. Well, she'll probably be killed now by the society and whatnot.
I would assume so, yeah.
But before that little tidbit where she was talking about how she was going on to the next city, So that we already know that there's more of these superhumans. Because they've been doing it for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
For 10,000 years, they killed these... Because the whole thing is that you can't mix the power. People can't be gods among humans. That was the big worry. That these people were going to become too powerful for the regular people. Really, it was... This organization just doesn't want to lose power. And the only threat to this organization... were these superhumans, and they've been killing them for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So we could have had a superhuman team all this long.
This whole time.
Yeah. And that was a big twist, right?
It was. What a way to go.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it too.
I knew there was going to be something. I mean, I knew there was going to be.
Would you like to see a superhero world? Universe? An M. Night Shyamalan superhero world with more superheroes and more stories?
No, I would not want it to get big. Maybe another something small, but I think this ended it very well. I think it tied a bow on it. It ends it to where you can infer to yourself what happens next, where it doesn't have to be played out for us, where we can start thinking that these people are all going to sprout out everywhere, where superhumans can be anyone, where even his son, because at some point his son, which I did not see the connection, but his son goes into the comic book store. Or it's the daughter it's Casey that goes in the comic book store. She, right in the middle, and she's the first one, and she sees, because she's the one that goes into the comic book store and sees the guy, and he starts talking about Superman and how the powers and everything. But at some point, the son is reading a comic book too, and it's like the Whisperer or something.
The Whisperer, yes. I wasn't in the villains section.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if that was like supposed to be something like he's going to end up being the Whisperer or something, where I was like, because it showed it for a long enough time where I thought he was going to be some kind of...
some sort of hero.
Because if you don't know, the whole thing is M. Night Shyamalan had the character of Kevin Crumb back in Unbreakable. He wanted to put him in some way, this character with a bunch of personalities, to be a bad guy back 19 years ago.
Right.
But he never found a way to introduce him in the movie. Yeah. So eventually, 19 years, he made Split out of his own. Because
that's crazy.
But he was supposed to be in Unbreakable, the first one. Mm-hmm. But he never found a way, and eventually just spawned its own movie.
Well, and he found the perfect guy in James McAvoy. And 17 years ago, he would not have found him.
I don't know. I don't know if you could have. 17 years ago. And that would have been a long fucking movie. I'm really glad they did it. Because Samuel needed... Because that was Samuel's movie. I mean, he's the bad guy in that. I'm glad they didn't introduce him.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. The way they did Unbreakable is perfect. It's damn near flawless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
But at the very end, the mom says to Joseph and Casey, because they're all in there, because they're the ones that decide to send out the video, right?
Right.
And she says that it's the beginning of the universe, which is true, because this whole time these people have been stopping the next evolution of humans. So humans have never been able to reach their capability evolve. Because this organization has kept them
the same thing
for 10,000 years.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing like the X-Men and the mutants.
Yeah. So this crazy company organization has been stalling the next evolution of man
for 10,000 years.
Because they don't want to lose power. And and I love that. It ends up being a corporation at the end. And let me tell you, you're this big corporation that runs the world. Rent out like a hall or something, or like a basement of a church. Every time it was like the impromptu lunch area where they had to close the curtains and everything.
No, right.
It just seems very risky to me. Yeah. I mean, what's stopping anyone from walking in on that, or like
not much?
Just rent out a hall or something. What are you risking there? Do a community center or something. It doesn't have to be some secret. Anyways, it ends well.
It does.
Well, that's all. What do you think, Mace? Was it the wild ride you thought it was going to be?
I'm a huge M. Night Shyamalan fan, man. I love these movies. I love this trilogy. I thought all three of them were good.
Yeah.
I thought this tied in well in a super, super cool and unique way too, man, because you don't see this ever in superhero movies. You never see this fresh take, this look at... I mean, all the superheroes died at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We saw that in Avengers, but we know they're going to come back. And it's so realistic. It's so grounded. It's so believable. I really like this take.
Yeah.
I like the way that it all ended. All the twists and turns made sense. Did a great job with the old footage in Unbreakable. You know?
Yeah. To me, was it the perfect movie? No. It wasn't. It wasn't the perfect movie. There was some hit and misses with the dialogue and stuff. The direction, I think the story is there. Again, it's just kind of I like M. Night Shyamalan a lot too, but there's sometimes it just he has the widest range when it comes to making movies. Mm-hmm. Somehow he can make absolutely phenomenal movies, and somehow he can make absolutely horrible movies. And I just don't really understand what difference he's doing from making a great movie and making that.
I think what it is with him, man, is M. Night Shyamalan is one of those directors for me that he always does enough to grab your attention.
To me, he's almost better as the story writer than the director. He makes great stories. He makes great worlds, I think, to me. He's a great, but sometimes I think his directional output maybe is a little off. But when he gets these seasoned actors like a Bruce Willis or Samuel Jackson or James McAvoy that know what they're doing almost immediately, I think those are when his movies, when you get him and Mark Wahlberg together to do The Happening, you get a horrible. So I think he needs
just good actors is what you're saying.
Well, I think he needs some kind of veteran there that's going to know, because did you ever see Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
He directed that.
I know
it's known as one of the worst adaptations. It's known as one of the worst movies of all time. But it was all young people. It was It was no one that I think knew
what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think when he has really good actors, he does really well. Or when he has people that know what they're doing. But I liked it again. I liked it more than most critics liked it. Did it blow me away? Probably not, but my expectations were high. I don't know why my expectations were super high, but it's just because Unbreakable was so good. But I thought it ended it very well. The twist, like we said, it did not rely on the twist. The entire movie didn't rely on the twist. It's really the entire build-up and the characters, the background of these characters you get. That's the best part of the movie to me. Mm-hmm. Was learning about McAvoy and learning how he got there, and Samuel Jackson and all of them. And it doesn't say anything about Bruce Willis, but like you said, he does take a back seat in this.
He does.
And Bruce Willis, he's
first and third act.
Bruce Willis is a fine actor. I mean, I'm not giving up, but compared to Samuel Jackson and James McAvoy, it's hard not to kind of hinder his acting when they're so good. And he's always been kind of one-sided, kind of the action star. Mm-hmm. But Unbreakable is probably his best acting of any movie I've seen him in.
Sixth Sense is close too.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like
as far as depth goes, acting wise, I'd say he doesn't give a lot. There's not more emotion than any of his other movies than there is in Sixth Sense and in Unbreakable. Right. He's showing a lot.
Well, you want to rate this?
Yeah.
We're doing a new rating system now.
We are.
So we're going to do a grade system instead of percentage, because as we talked about earlier, who the fuck knows what an 86 is compared to an grade,
87,
right? We can comprehend grades a little bit better. All right. Well, for me, I'll start with this. I really thought this was a good way to tie in, as we talked about earlier, a good way to tie in this trilogy. Fresh take. It was really fun. Yes, there were some things wrong with the movie. I felt at times I was checking my phone, seeing the time. Not that I was bored, but just, again, M. Night Shyamalan has this fascinating way of keeping me entertained the whole time, but yet there will be moments where I'll check my phone to see what time it is. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the pacing slows down. I felt there were times in this movie where the pacing slowed down a little bit. However, I love the story. I love the twist at the end. The really, overall, a good movie. B for me, just a solid B.
Solid B. Yeah. Like you said, this is not getting good reviews for one reason or another. But I think me being a really big fan of Unbreakable, and I think I like Split more. Split did good, but I think I like Split more than a lot of people did also. Mm-hmm. But I like this movie. The art direction is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. The scenes are amazing. It may not be the big ending that you thought you were going to see with Samuel Jackson, James McAvoy, and everything like that. You're not going to get amazing fight scenes. You're not going to see these two guys really. I mean, They're not just gonna be going in. You're not gonna see the fight scenes like you see in Marvel.
No,
it's not. It's much more grounded. It's much more real. But
especially on a $20 million budget.
Exactly. But adding Sarah Paulson, you can't go wrong adding her. I mean, add her into anything, she's gonna do great. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Like you said, there were some dips where it lagged. I thought where it got kind of slow. I think that was probably around the second act when most movies do. But when that third act comes around, you're in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you really want to know where it's going. And when that twist comes around, it's not a crappy twist where it's a twist where I felt like it was worth, the wait or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I gave it a B-.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were pretty close.
Yeah. Alrighty.
But let's just talk about how this movie was made for $20 million.
$20 million.
$20 million. It's already at
95 and a half.
Produced by Blumhouse Pictures, which makes all the fucking low budget horror movies that make $1 billion. It's unbelievable what Blumhouse and whatever the producer, they make these movies for nothing and they give them. It's amazing. Yeah, they hit.
Make good money doing it.
I mean, it's so easy to make scary movies on a low budget and then make. You can go make a movie for $10 million and they make $100 million, which isn't great. You're still making 10 times the profit.
You can crush in the horror department.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing.
No, Blumhouse they figured it out with the Conjurings and the Annabelles.
Yep.
People, you're going to at least make $100 million no matter what.
No matter what.
It could be shit.
People love them.
It could be shit. Yep. You're going to make $100 million. Keep it under $20 million, you're going to make money.
Well, The Nun got like 8%. I'm sure that made well over 100.
Oh, I guarantee. And that's all spawned off. And they probably made
It's all spawned
They probably
off.
made it for $10 million.
Yeah. It's all spawned off The Conjuring.
Yeah.
All of it.
And they made this movie for $20 million.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is Unbreakable is M. Night Shyamalan's most expensive movie.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. That's incredible.
They shot it all in chronological order.
Jesus.
Which makes it much more expensive. But apparently he was coming off Sixth Sense, and they're like, give this guy anything he wants.
Yeah, anything.
Give him anything he wants. And then, although Unbreakable did good, a sequel never happened or anything until 16 years later because it was too fucking expensive. Shooting a movie in chronological order makes it like 5 times more expensive.
Yes. Because you got to keep going back to these.
And watching
sets.
Unbreakable, you would think this movie. I mean, it looks great, but you would think, this should have been made for $10 million. Mm-hmm. There was nothing in it there's no CGI or anything. The biggest thing is probably the train, and it barely even shows the train crash. I think it might just show the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but horror movies, thriller, making for $10 million. It's a fucking gold rush.
It is.
We need to get in on it. Just pop.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah, it's true. Well, all right.
Alrighty.
Until next time.
Bye.